And welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. A quick reminder, the Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in detail. Vice President Kashim Shettima has affirmed Nigeria's commitment to strengthening diplomatic ties with the Republic of Congo, acknowledging the leadership of President Denis Sassou Nguesso and promoting regional peace and stability, especially across Africa's Great Lake region. Speaking at a reception for the Prime Minister of the Republic of Congo, Antolo Colinet Makoso, at the presidential villa in Abuja, the vice president lauded the leadership of the Congolese president, reaffirming Nigeria's commitment to strengthening bilateral ties. Shettima also said Nigeria will consider Congo's request for support in its bid to lead the United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organizations. The federal government has launched a special agro-industrial processing zones program in Ijaye, Ibadan, Oyo State, aimed at transforming Nigeria's agriculture sector. Vice President Kashim Shettima, represented by the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, described the initiative as a key pillar of President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Kyari said the program is designed to drive an agro-industrial revolution by turning Nigeria's agricultural produce into value-added products, creating jobs, and boosting the economy in partnership with the federal and state government, as well as other strategic partners. Moving on, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike says the internal crisis in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has subsided for now, following the recent exit of some top party figures, including Atiku Abubakar. Speaking during a media chat in Abuja, Wike noted that although the situation has calmed, there are still some unresolved matters the party must address. He insisted the PDP needs internal reflection and decisive action to remain relevant. Minister Nyesom Wike has announced that the FCTA will begin sealing off properties in Abuja whose owners have failed to pay ground rent despite a grace period approved by the President Tinubu. Speaking during a media party, Wike said non-payment of taxes is unacceptable and warned that no political or investment consent will stop enforcement. The warning follows the earlier sealing of the PDP Secretariat among nearly 4,800 properties affected by the revocation. Moving on, the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, has dismissed the false and misleading publication that claimed the Southeast is neglected in road infrastructure development. This is contained in a statement by Muhammad Ahmed, Director, Press and Public in the ministry, insisting that President Bola Tinubu has been fair to all regions of the country, including the Southeast. He also stated that the president had revived 90% of abandoned road projects, some dating back to 2013, and is still executing new ones without discrimination. The West Africa Examination Council, WAEC, has announced the official release of the result for the 2025 West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination for school candidates. In a statement issued via X, the examination body confirmed that candidates who sat for the exam can now access their results online. The Kwara State government has approved 20. Moving on. The Kwara State government has approved 20 billion to bridge gap in the state's public school infrastructure and has directed the amount to be captured in the supplementary budget. Commissioner for Education Dr. Lawal Oluwobebe, who made the disclosure in Ilorin, said the fund will support extensive upgrades ongoing since 2020. He emphasized that the investment follows the state's renewed relationship with UBEC, the improved learning environment across schools. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has recommended contingency plan for states across the country to address the challenges of flooding and other disasters. The agency's head of operations for Abia and Imo, Nnamdi Igwe, made the recommendation while speaking in an interview in Owerri, Imo State capital, following a 5-day workshop for emergency responders on disaster preparedness and flood response. Igwe, who described the workshop as imperative, said, given the rainy season and rising floods, as well as expert prediction, it is necessary for Imo to produce contingency plan to tackle the situation. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has predicted thundery and rainy weather activities across the nation from Monday to Wednesday, warning of possible flash floods in some areas. In the weather outlook released by the agency in Abuja, forecast morning thunderstorm on Monday made moderate rains over parts of Adamawa, Taraba, Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Jigawa, Kano, and Katsina states in the northern region. The agency further noted cloudy skies over the southern region with chances of light rain over parts of Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo, Anambra, Abia, Ogun, Edo, Delta, Lagos, Rivers, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and Bayelsa states during the morning hours. Troops of Operation Wellstroke have rescued 11 kidnapped victims and recovered a case of armed and ammunition during a major offensive across parts of Benue and Taraba states. The joint operation, conducted between August 2nd and 3rd, 2025, was led by Commander Sector 1 Colonel K.O. Bukoye with coordinated air support and ground maneuvers from Sector 3. The offensive targeted criminal hideouts in Seraho and Chito, located in Akum local government area of Benue State. You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, Tinubu reassures of payments of Nigerian National Petroleum Company funded projects. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you are just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Now we go to the business news, where the federal government has reaffirmed its resolve to provide Nigerians with stable, uninterrupted electricity supply as President Bola Tinubu intensifies efforts to reform the power sector under his renewed hope agenda. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu restated this commitment at the weekend during the commissioning of the Quarry Injection Substation in Ikotun Ebe, Lagos. Adelabu said President Tinubu's administration, while driving the renewed hope agenda, recognizes that energy is not merely a commodity, but the backbone of economic growth and job creation. President Bola Tinubu has waded into the growing concerns over the possible suspension of funding for key road infrastructure projects being executed under the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited tax credit scheme. Speaking during an engagement held in Abuja with the affected contractors, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, relayed President's message, reaffirming the administration's unwavering commitment to infrastructure development. Umahi said in a decisive move to avert disruption and allay stakeholders' fear, the President has issued firm directives to ensure continuity of the scheme and the timely release of payments to contractors. Still in business, data from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority indicates that marketers have resumed large-scale importation from refined petroleum products, choosing not to patronize local refineries. The Downstream Regulatory disclosed this during a presentation to the Federal Account Allocations Committee for the month of June 2025. The latest fuel supply data authority also showed that a staggering 71.38% of Nigerians' daily petroleum consumption in May and June 2025 was met through imports. Now we go to the foreign scene, where India and Philippines have staged their first joint sail and naval exercises in the disputed South China Sea. The two-day joint military development and deployed that kicked off is likely to anger China, which claims nearly the entire key waterway and has separate territorial disputes with the two Asian countries. Philippine Chief of Staff Romeo Brawner Jr. said the joint sail took place inside the country's exclusive economic zone. One person have been confirmed dead and 11 others injured after a collision between a bus and a freight train in Russia's Leningrad region, according to local railway authorities. Officials say the bus drove into a level crossing in front of an oncoming train, and though the train driver applied emergency brakes, the crash could not be avoided. Emergency services responded to the scene, while investigations are ongoing to determine whether the bus was a regular service vehicle or a tourist bus, as conflicting reports suggest. And still on the foreign scene, Saudi Arabia has executed 17 people in just 3 days, including 2 Saudis convicted of terrorism and 15 others, mostly foreigners, for drug offenses like hashish and cocaine smuggling. The pace of execution is the highest since March 2022, when 81 were killed in a single day, drawing global outrage. With 239 executions already recorded in 2025, the kingdom appears set to surpass last year's record of 338. Now we go to sports, where the world record holder in the women's 100-meter hurdles, Tobi Amusan, has cruised to victory in the event at the 2025 Athletic Federation of Nigeria's national trial at the Yaba College of Technology Sports Complex in Lagos. The 28-year-old fired quickly off the block at the Yaba Tech Sports Complex and wheeled away to clinch the first position in a time of 12.57 seconds for her 5th title. Amusan finished ahead of the rising star Adobe Tabubo, who came second in a time of 13.03 seconds, while Faith Asamuyi placed third in a time of 13.36 seconds. And still in sports, Nigeria's women basketball team, the Tigress, have arrived in Abuja after clinching their 5th consecutive FIBA Women's Afro Basketball title in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. The players and officials were received at the airport by sports authorities and enthusiastic supporters who celebrated their dominance on the continent. With Sunday's 78-64 win over Mali, the Tigress secured a 7th AfroBasket crown and stretched their unbeaten run to 29 games since 2015. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has congratulated the national women's basketball team, the Tigress, on their heroic win at the 2025 FIBA Women's AfroBasket Championship. In a statement, Deputy Speaker Kalu praised the team's resilience, determination, and teamwork, calling them an inspiration to young girls across the country. The Tigress extended their dominance in African women's basketball on Sunday with a decisive 78-64 victory over Mali in Abidjan, clinching a record 5th consecutive AfroBasket title. And that is it on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using the handle @Global TV NG. I am Priscilla Obasi. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.